China and US military budgets. This is via Holger. It's very interesting that, the current geopolitical situation. Suddenly Trump's light has flicked on and has become more aggressive. He's been doing a couple of FONOPs, amongst other things. But I really think that the militarization of the islands is a fait accompli, and if you don't now reverse it, it's never going to be reversed. And to reverse it would require, a military intervention. And I don't think either side's that keen on it, it seems to me. Mikhail Gorbachev, it looks as if all the world is preparing for war. Now the US tracked a North Korean missile for 37 minutes today. And that took me to Gravity's Rainbow Thomas Pynchon. But it is a curve each of them feels unmistakably. It is the parabola. They must have guessed once or twice, guessed and refused to believe. But everything always collectively had been moving toward that purified shape, latent in the sky, that shape of no surprise, no second chance, no return. Yet they do move forever under it, reserved for its own black and white bad news, certainly, as if it were the rainbow and they its children. North Korea says the missile fired today was an intercontinental ballistic missile point. North Korean ballistic missile greatly exceeded altitude of 2,500 kilometers. Japan's defense ministry seems to have taken it to another level. North Korea has fired another ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan. It is the 13th so far in 2017. FD have done some stats. Trump responds to latest North Korea missile test. Does this guy have anything better to do with his life? I wrote a piece in November 2010 called The Hermit Kingdom, and I was saying far away in distant lands lies the Hermit Kingdom. This land is ruled by the House of Kim, and its capital is Pyongyang. The first and eternal president was Kim Il-sung, and his successor Kim Jong-il, whose designated successor is Kim Jong-un. They have all had tiny little hands like the elves and the shoemaker. And this country has nuclear weapons, and on its border with its neighbor, South Korea, sit 25,000 American soldiers. Last week, the North shelled the South and issued all kinds of threats. The DPRK will deal a merciless military counterattack at any provocative act of intruding into its territorial waters in the future. This was then, in 2010, President Obama sent the USS George Washington to the Yellow Sea. Now here we sit watching developments and trying to model what is happening and what might happen. In reality, we're actually navigating in uncharted waters. The media, and I think this is the important piece that that I want to emphasize. The media keeps chanting like a mantra, China will rein North Korea in. It is not in their interest to have a mad dog like North Korea as an ally, whether it's the BBC, the New York Times, or Radio France. I said, I venture this is an embedded narrative fallacy and that most Western commentators are apparently popping quaaludes. Let me tell you why. China is taking a much more forward position in that area. And particularly in Asia, it's near abroad. I believe North Korea is the perfect instrument, the attack dog, for China to show those who choose to operate outside their sphere of influence, and by extension, in the US, is that there will be a very heavy price to pay. I venture that the Chinese are quite happy to see those 25,000 US soldiers plus their THAAD missile defense system run right into the sea. And I said we need to grow up. And I think that point remains valid and applies now. President Trump, I wrote over the weekend, resides in the White House, from where Zeus-like he hurls Twitter thunderbolts. And Zeus was actually quite contrary, wasn't he? And I think Trump might be a Zeus figure.